This is a Dancing Stickman production. Content warning. This series contains potentially upsetting themes, including mind control, harm to children and animals, and death.
You hear an alarm being raised, and you can actually see it from here because there is a Church of Taios in your town as well. You can see that there are a bunch of people in front of the church who see you, and they are starting to scramble to get their boats together to come to your house.
Lev?
He says,
Just calm down. We'll fix this in a second.
We don't have time.
he leaves Senna. He says,
Come over here, Ofelia, come over here.
and do you walk towards him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like processing, and I see the church, and I say,
Lev, the church is coming.
I know. We're gonna get you out of here.
What he does is he puts a hand on you and your father, and you feel him do that same thing where he's drawing something back out of you. And you feel you're deflating about as slowly as you grew, which was not, you didn't shoot up. It was just like an expansion. So you start deflating, but at the same time as he's got his hands on you, you feel him do something else. He puts something else into you. You realize now that you might be getting smaller, but you're still staying in the same place because you're floating. In fact, you're flying.
Lev!
The three of you are in the air. He says, we need to leave now. And he grabs both of you by your wrist, and he starts flying out over your garden and is trying to get away from your house and this town as fast as possible. So he's flying you towards the edge of the city, and you see actually as this happens, some of these clerics who are starting to get closer to your home, they start firing magic off at you that you have to dodge. Give me a dex save.
What is going on? And then I'm like, at the same time, like, they're attacking us, and it's gonna be a dex save of 14.
Oh, great. Okay, and then for your dad.
My dad!
Yeah, your dad's with you. Your dad is, this is something he doesn't know how to process.
My poor dad's just frozen in a state of shock.
The thing is your dad respects expertise, and this is a space where Liev has taken over, and this is the thing that he is going to get done. So your dad just goes along with it, but he winds up getting hit with something that knocks him out of the air.
Father!
Liev goes diving after him to get him. But at this point, you guys are sort of at the edge of the city. Your dad's tumbling towards the water. Liev manages to catch him right before he hits. Liev yells to you, go to the trees. He points you in a direction because now at this point, he has to like carry your father with him.
I look to the trees, I look to him. How far are they away from me?
The nice thing is that once you get out of town, the clerics lose their water access. So you've probably got about, let's say 500 feet, and you can get into fairly dense forest cover. So you might be able to lose your tail.
But how far is Lev and my father from me?
They're about 60 feet below you.
Does it look like Lev is very slowed down with the weight of my father?
He's struggling, yes.
I am going to ignore that directive, and I'm going to go straight down to them so that I can help my father and Lev.
You hook a arm under your father's shoulder, and Liev gets on the other side and does the same. And you guys stay low and zoom into the trees. But by the time you actually hit the trunks, you have to stop flying because Liev says, we should stay below the tree line so that they can't find us, but we're going to have to run.
As he says this and we do this, I'm going to turn to Lev and I'm like, I expect answers after this.
I hope I have them. The three of you go running. And when you finally have a chance to slow down, when you feel like maybe you've gotten far enough away that they're not going to be able to find you, Liev helps your father to the ground, and he pulls out his bag that he carries with them and pulls out a little potion and uncorks the stopper and pours it down your father's throat. At this point, your father, he's like semi-conscious. He's a little overwhelmed. So he just lets this happen, but you can see that where he got hit in the shoulder, it starts to knit itself back together again right in front of your eyes. So whatever it is that Liev just gave him, it was also magic. And he says, your father is going to have to leave town, and you're going to have to leave town.
This day just continues to get better and better. Father, are you okay?
Your father is sleeping, honestly. Like that draft after everything that happened, I think his preference was to go unconscious at that point because he didn't know how to process any of this. Liev stands up. This is the first time that since you've been able to slow down, he looks at you and he says, I was right. There is something different about you.
Who the fuck are you?
He sighs. It's just a deep, and when you hear it, it's a really sad sigh. He says, I am one of a few of my kind that are left, and you are too.
What does that mean? Stop giving me vague answers and give me actual answers. I think I deserve that at least.
He says, tell me, Ofelia, did something change? Did something unusual happen today outside of our little interaction with the Centaurs? Was there anything about your, let's say, your garden that was different to you since you spent the night sleeping there the day after the solstice?
No, not really. I guess the oddest thing that happened was that I fell asleep, which doesn't really happen. And I guess, well, when I had woken up, Senna and I had found mint leaves, which was quite random.
Is that the same mint that went into our tea?
I would assume so if Senna was being practical.
I would assume so as well. Oh, I'm going to have to help her too. I believe that you have somehow gained your own magical powers, Ofelia. I can feel from you the same call to nature and to the plants that sustain us as I feel myself.
Plants? You mean like a chemist like yourself? If you had wanted me to follow that profession, you could have just said so.
No, I do not mean like a chemist. I am not a chemist.
And you're going to tell me that you're not Lev, and you never were.
I am and have always been Liev. I am a witch, and I have always been. And I am one of the last of my kind, and you, apparently, even though I have known you your entire life, apparently have the powers of a witch as well now, too. But what we need to worry about right now is that most of Asadis knows this, and they know something has happened to you and to your father and to your household. And we need to get him safe, and then we need to get you safe.
What about my mother?
Your mother wasn't home when this happened, but I will, if you will allow me, I have an associate who can take you somewhere safe, and I will gather your mother and father together and get them out of Asadis myself, and I promise you this, Ofelia.
Can I trust him?
Give me an insight check.
Because right now, I don't feel like trusting him at all.
Well, fair enough.
That's going to be a 15.
You've had a weird day.
Yeah.
And your feelings are all over the place. But what you know is that this man reversed whatever it was that had caused all three of you to grow and then got you and your dad out and then healed him. Those facts are facts that you know that is true about this situation. And you also know that you have known this man your whole life and that your father trusts him. So you feel, yes, that he is telling you the truth as best he can, that he thinks he can get you somewhere safe and he will look after your family because he cares about them.
I'm gonna look down because I've been actually cradling my father's head on my lap. And then I look at his kind of slumbering face. I look at Lev and I say, you better keep that promise, or I can't promise you what's gonna happen to you after this.
He actually smiles when you say this. He says, I would never want to cross Ofelia Laurel. So what he ends up doing is going quiet for a moment. Then he looks to you and he says, all right, she's coming. Don't be alarmed. And there's a pop. And a short, plump woman with a apron and a dress and curly hair appears right in front of you. And she looks to Liev and she says, something's happened. There's a child at my house right now. You tell me that this one has powers, the little one has powers too. Have you heard from Nuneza? And he says, I have not, but presumably we will. It's just the three of us. And she looks to you, Ofelia. She says, hello, darling. I'm Igern. I'm so sorry that this has happened to you. But I'm going to need you to take my hand right now, and we're going to leave. And she holds her hand out to you, and Liev puts his hand on your shoulder, and he says, you can trust her.
As I take Ivern's hand, I'm going to continue to look at Liev. And I think what he catches, though I try to hide it, similar to Tiberia, is just this hint of desperation of like, please keep your promise.
He nods to you solemnly, and as you take Igern's hand, there is a sudden feeling of compression and pop, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a cottage that you've never been in before. When you come back to yourself after having remembered this, upon seeing that little nodule at the back of that woman's neck in Tuvold, you realize that you have lost track of Emmett and Naya, who presumably are finishing their token shopping. I love so much that one of the tokens that Emmett is giving was straight like ripped off a woman's hand.
And I have stolen the second one too.
What is it? Tell me what it is.
A whole cloak.
LOL.
Whole cloak.
Do you want me to roll?
That's hard.
Felix says thank you.
Yo, I'm kind of into that.
I know it's hard.
Whole cloak. No, it should be a fairly small item. I'm gonna say no to the cloak.
No, what if I roll high enough?
You want to have stolen an entire cloak off a whole ass person?
Mm-hmm. You want me to try?
What if I help with this? What if it's not on a person, but what if they were sitting down outside eating some food and it was just like...
It was like somewhere. Yes, that's what I was thinking as well. Like somebody left it at a table or something like that. We're going to say, because you have to get out of town with it too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in the city, and Igern has been pretty specific about not drawing attention to yourselves. So we're going to say DC 20, sleight of hand.
Damn.
Yeah, you have to roll for it.
Okay. Sleight of hand?
Yes.
Are you trusting the computer?
I am going to trust the computer. Okay. Please.
Fingers crossed. What is it?
Someone help me. Give me the help
It's a
action.
19.
Wait, it's a 19.
Oh, she
Wait,
rolls with advantage if what is it? Naya's helping. She gets advantage, right?
Naya, are you helping? I mean, Naya is what Ashlyn did was gave me a narrative
Yes.
suggestion. Is Naya helping?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm here for the shenanigans.
How?
So walk me through, Emmett, walk me through the plan just very, 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 very quickly.
I like the idea of somebody eating food and they just took their cloak off for a second. I like
Okay.
the idea of what if this person gets distracted and gets up. Maybe they have their cloak over the back of their
Are
chair.
you causing the distraction?
Oh,
Naya?
absolutely. Because do you know what I have? I
What?
am proficient in performance, and I'm gonna do a little bard thing. I have my little halluci
You have your little
Lucy right now.
Lucy. That's
so
right.
I'm probably watching Emmett like in the back, looking at these cloaks and kind of touching
Are
it.
y'all not verbally communicating that you're doing this with each other?
I think I'm like watching Emmett, and she's looking a little suspicious right now, and I'm like, oh no. And so I immediately just start performing the Halusi in front of people, and I'm just kind of like just starting to perform it and like move around and twirling in the ways in which I'm bringing back the conversation from Ofelia about like lace and performance, and she was talking about birds mating, and I was like, why are we doing so? That's what she's doing right now.
As you guys are doing this, Ophelia's feeling a prickling sensation in the back of her, being like, I feel like something is going wrong. Yes.
She's still lost in the sauce of the flashback.
But then something's
but she's like,
happening.
something else is happening. All right, that's your advantage. Let's see.
22.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Just vibing.
How can you not be distracted by this spectacle?
I do want to point out that Ofelia absolutely was like busy thinking deeply about something,
Yes.
and then was like,
There's the dramatic D&D, and then there's this D&D. What's going on?
There's this over here.
Truly, the duality of D&D.
Indeed.
Let me ask you something, Naya, because while you are out here playing your little instrument and singing a little song, the cloak does not have like arms in it, so you are going to have to open it up to kind of get your little thing playing. So I want you to be aware that this is noticed.
Okay.
That's what's noticed, not Emmett stealing a whole cloak. Just real quickly, real quietly, this thing comes like, it's like when you pull a tablecloth off and everything's on top of it, Emmett just, and then all of a sudden the cloak's not there anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, just a little poo, poo, poo,
Mm-hmm. Emmett, presumably you back away so that you're nowhere near this. And okay, well, so I guess when you come to Ofelia, there's a little concert going on, and you look to it, and it's Naya, and she is playing the instrument that she. Do you think you've played this for them already, Naya? Do you think you've ever given them a little performance?
Probably, because it just reminds me of home, and there are these moments where I need a sense of like home.
Yeah.
Do I see that there's like a crowd gathered, or is there a lot of people looking at Naya?
So this was over by, the food stands are kind of at the outside of this market, and there are like little places to sit. And so it's near enough to all of that it's like when you're at a farmer's market with a little band. So everybody's still sitting at their seat and they're having their bites and drinking their tea and whatever. But they're all definitely watching Naya. That crowd around there is listening to her. And when she finishes, when she wraps up her song, they actually give her a round of applause. They really liked it.
Okay. I'm just gonna wait. Shoot. Okay.
You see Emmett. So this I shouldn't say square because this is actually a round area. It's like a big open plaza, and Emmett's backing towards the buildings of it, and she's got like a big bulge in her stomach that was not there before, and she's got her coat on, and she's just got like her arms crossed over it, just trying to hide that. And she's alone. Nobody's looking at her. But yeah, you see that.
Ophelia's just gonna like rub her eyebrows, be like, I was gone for 5 minutes, and then
you've got the chicken skewers in your hand.
I'm gonna look around the people that were watching Naya specifically. Are there any members of Taios that clock her?
Let's do a luck check. If it's above a 10, if it's 11 or higher, you're good. If it's below, someone noticed. That's a 6. So, yes, there are, I would say, guards that have the symbol of Taios because they have their own kind of regiment that the church has, and they're stationed around. And one of them, like kind of nearest the entrance to the plaza that leads back up to the church, is watching, has his eyes on her, and he's not making any moves. He doesn't seem like this is something that he wants to stop or anything like that, but he can tell that he's registered her, and as another guard walks up to him, he leans over and just whispers something and then looks back. If you all want to exit, that's sort of like the southern end of the plaza, and you guys are going back to the east. So you guys could like try and cut around there and go down a different street to get back to the ports if you want to try to avoid notice.
That's exactly what Naya would like to do. Naya would like to take a bow. If anyone has thrown some gold, she will take the gold.
There's a little bit of coinage. Not gold. Not that much.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I don't know how you decided to slice up the currency here, but like whatever
the currency is, it's low.
And she'll be like, thank you all for a wonderful time. May Taios bless you for all eternity. She just
fake accent.
She's pretending to be a bard that she's like, Rusty is a bard, right? So
Yeah,
she's putting on a similar performance that Rusty has and says, "May I see you in the next town over. Goodbye."
So I would say that Emmett has moved towards the sort of eastern end because that is, you guys can orient yourself as like, that's the way that we need to go
Sarah,
back.
quick question. As I was catching those guards doing whatever it is that they're doing, can I cast Detect Thoughts if they're within 30?
You can get within 30 feet and cast Detect Thoughts for sure.
Wait, the range is...
Do I get to roll anything?
The range is self, actually, so that means I have to get a bit closer. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm walking past the guards.
Yeah.
And as I do so, just casually, like just being like a commoner with who got chicken skewers, I'm just gonna like have like this like fake like smile on me as I'm like walking by, like excited. I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts to see what exactly it was that the guard was thinking.
Okay. Do I get to resist it?
I only get the surface level thoughts. If I want to probe deeper, then they have to make a wisdom saving throw. But I think right now I'm just trying to catch the surface level, which is like the most immediate thing that they had thought.
Okay. The surface thoughts were actually something along the lines of, she's pretty good.
Yes! My skills in the halluci. I am popping off, y'all.
I like that. But if you want to probe deeper, you can.
Then hearing that, I'm just going to shake my head and I'm going to probe deeper then.
Okay, so I get to do a wisdom
Yes,
save.
it has to beat a DC of 15.
I do not beat it. So it's not distinct, like it's not a sentence. What you get lower than that is a deep sense of suspicion, especially upon having clocked what Naya is wearing underneath Igern's cloak, because what he saw were little metal clasps and buckles in designs that represent other gods that are part of different pantheons that nobody in Tuvold worships.
As soon as I catch that, I'm actually going to, as I was passing them, I'm gonna actually turn to them and cut on like the, like, you know, like be like, oh my goodness, guards of the Church of Taios. It's probably hot out here, right? I'm gonna get like in direct view of them so that they don't continue to look at Naya.
Sure.
And I'm gonna say, I bought these amazing chicken skewers and I just thought, would you like some? For, you know, your hard work.
The one whose thoughts were, she's pretty good. It's like, yeah, I'll take those. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
He gladly takes it puts the end of it in the mouth and like pulls it right off the kebab stick and he's like, thank you. It's good.
Yeah, what's your name?
Now he gets a little bit like, what's your name?
Oh, you know, my name is Lauren. Just it's my you know, day out to go in the city and enjoy the marketplace, and the chicken skewers are my favorite. So
is there anything I can help you with, Lauren?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't really get to see a lot of guards usually, and so I just thought it was quite a hot day and just wanted to share.
Are you from Tuvold?
No, just, you know, a town over here, so it's my first time.
He looks up and past you to see if he can still see Naya. Can he? Are you still in the same place?
Oh, when I said goodbye, I will see you in the next town over. It is the moment that I have made an exit stage left.
All right. And he notices that Naya is gone and he looks back at you, Ofelia. He says, thank you for the chicken.
Yeah, sure.
And he walks past you and he's done with you. He's going in that direction.
Okay.
Because something seems suspicious.
As I see him leave, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to kind of whisper in my lapel where there's actually like a small flower. And I'm going to send to Naya. Guard of Taios, looking for you. Be careful.
Are they right behind? Because I just out of this, just out of the scene for a moment.
Okay.
The reason why I started that way is because I was like, oh wait, we're doing a message, but I can't send back after I do this. So
you can send one message back to her.
That's right. That's why I'm like, it's one message back. Final question for you, Sarah, as a DM. We just took a boat across a channel, right? Is the channel swimmable?
It's a big river. It's like a big, wide river. And one of the reasons why this town is so economically prosperous is because it's easy for boats to get up and down it. And it goes through the mountain range. So it's slow. That's a benefit. But Emmett's whole thing of like, yeah, I can swim. Like, I don't think Emmett would be safe trying to swim across this river if they haven't ever done any kind of laps before, you know?
The reason why I ask is because, and I'm happy to make a survival check for this, is just thinking about Naya hearing that and not knowing how to probably deal with like guards in the city.
Yeah.
It's a thing of she will probably want to break from the group and say she will meet back at Igern's place. So it's a question of, can she make it back on her own, even if it takes a little bit longer?
You know what you have that is not anything that's going to help you with swimming, but would help you is water breathing.
Right, exactly. No, we're on the same page officially.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be doing laps or anything. You could definitely you could, if you want to cast water breathing on yourself.
Fantastic. We're on the same page. I just wanted to like make sure. I'm like, okay, I'm now thinking in pure Naya mode of like, okay, now I can go back to the message. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yes.
I'll meet you back at the house. Go with Emmett. Keep her safe.
And with God.
May Nox protect you.
Go with Taios. All right. Okay. So cool. We split the party.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We just split the party. Episode 1.
This guy walked away from you, Ofelia. So Emmett's not visible either. Where are you, Emmett? What are you doing?
I probably dipped into an alleyway behind to be obscured enough because I'm holding a big bulge of cloak in my jacket. So
you look a little pregnant, but you're 12.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's something's up.
Not correct.
Something's a little screwy.
Can I try to see if I can find Emmett? Like a perception check?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I make myself,
Yeah,
can I like try and peek out and look for Ofelia, see if she can see me?
why don't we have Annette roll perception? Just straight perception, and we'll do it with advantage because she's poking out. And we'll just say it's a DC 16.
23.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. So you see Emmett's little curly head pop out from behind a corner, and she waves at you.
I'm just gonna look around and make sure that like the guard that walked away or other guards won't see me going into this alley.
So the guard that walked away is he is pursuing Naya. So he's already turned a corner and is looking for her. And actually, Naya, can you do me a favor and give me a stealth check?
Absolutely.
And we'll say if you can beat a DC 18, that this guy doesn't pick up your trail right away.
Oh my god. It's a 17.
Okay. Well, we'll deal with that in a second.
No.
I want to know what Emmett and Ofelia do.
We should go home.
I see Emmett, and first thing I do is, what do you have under your shirt? I can clearly see it.
I kind of like pull it out a little bit so she can see. It's like a little cloth cloak.
It's a black cloak. Might occur to you that if she actually puts it on, she'll be less recognizable than she was before because her clothes will have changed. It's just too long for Emmett.
Aw, that's cute.
I think Naya is in trouble.
Trouble? Why?
There was a guard of Taios that clocked her.
Should we go find her?
That's what I'm trying to decide. Naya told us that she would meet us back at Igern's place.
Well, we don't have to listen. We could just go find her and help her.
But I'm just wondering if that'll put more of a target to her. Let's make our way slowly to our boat. And if we see Naya, can I make a sort of insight check to see if Ofelia knows enough about Naya now that she can kind of think about what sort of plan Naya has of how she's trying to meet us at Igern's place?
I would say it's hard to make an insight check without Naya there present in front of you. So I think you can, but just do it at disadvantage and it'll be a higher DC.
Oh, that was between a 10 and a nat 20. So at a disadvantage, 10 is going to be 17.
You don't know exactly what Naya is going to do, but you know that she's competent and that she knows how to get around quietly and quickly, and you know that she has been learning to do magic as much as you have. So while you might not know specifically what it is she's going to do, you know that she knows how to get herself out of scraps. So that's, I'd say, is the most that you know about what it is she might possibly be planning.
Okay, I'll turn to Emmett and say, for now, let's make our way down to the boat here. And I'm gonna ask for the cloak so that I can put it in my backpack so you're not lugging it around.
Okay, here you go.
All right, the two of you make your way towards the docks again, and you try to move as unhurriedly and as casually as possible. We're starting to get into the later afternoon at this point. Naya, you're walking... let's see. So east is back towards the docks and towards Igern's place. South is towards the church. Which direction are you walking?
I'm trying to probably walk closer to the docks. I'm trying to get home. So trying to maybe just curve around just a little bit.
So you wind up walking into sort of a residential area. This is obviously the kind of poorer part of town, but there's enough streets kind of curving around that you can duck down in places. But you do notice... actually, give me a perception check. Maybe you don't notice.
Yeah, I was actually curious if I could try and perceive things.
Is he being obvious? Yeah, he's being obvious enough that you can see a guard walking behind you. Now, okay. As you kind of are trying to get to maybe somewhere where you have more water access, this is your options. Because Tuvold slopes down, there's kind of cliff sides that the city is perched on, and then there's just a long guard wall that closes the city off as this sort of triangle-shaped peninsula in the river that it's on widens out, and past that it's like farmland. So you know if you hit the wall, you're not going to be able to get down to the banks of the river, but there is a spot, you can see it as you're sort of walking along these cliffs, where there's a small fisherman's hut with a couple of little boats and a set of stairs leading down on a sandy shore that leads to the river. The problem is there's also a guard tower perched on an island that there's a bridge connecting it to the city just by there. So you can go down there and have access to the water, and that's the fastest route to get you there. Or you can try your luck and see if you can get down onto a sandy shore that's a little bit further before you actually hit the wall that cuts the city off from the rest of this peninsula.
I don't know if Naya would actually even know that, though. I guess because I'm probably going down two pathways of left, right to determine, right?
Yeah, essentially, you're going to have to either, if you want to take the short route, you're going to have to do it now, or if you want to risk it, you can keep going and see if there's someplace else.
No, I think I want to go towards the bridge, which will lead out of this.
The bridge leads to the guard tower.
Oh, I see.
The bridge leads out of town to a guard tower that's perched on a little island in the water, and it's directly in view of this little spit of sand where there's a fishing hut and some boats and stuff like that. So if you go down to that piece of shore, you'll be directly visible. You could, if you want to go over to the guard tower, you could.
I don't want to do that. I think I switched those two. Okay, yeah.
All right. So, but you are gonna try and get in the water within view of this guard tower.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
We have to at this point try something.
What's your plan when you get down there?
So I mean, really, my plan was step one. I want to actually get out of sight of the guard, or really rethinking about my conversation with Ofelia about the way that people dress determines their status. Does this person look like they are high status, high rank?
They're in a uniform.
Mm-hmm.
So they are distinct from everybody else in town in that sense, where it's oh, this person is important because he's related. Whatever it is he does, it's related to Taios. So for that reason, you know that having caught his attention might have caught more than just his attention, if he takes this elsewhere besides just pursuing you.
Right.
In terms of status, though, within the Order of Taios, I don't think you get the impression that he's super high status, because the highest status seem to be actual clerics. They're the ones who are wearing the fanciest clothes, and they have more gold and stuff on him. This guy is in a much more plain tunic, and he has a weapon. So you think that he serves more like as I don't want to say police because that's too modern, but it's the same way that like police are essentially guard dogs for the rich. That's what this man is to the clerics of Taios.
Ultimately, the goal for Naya is not to actually talk to this person, but to like just get out of sight of him. And so I think what she would like to do is like, if she's kind of got her cloak back on and she's just going to put up the hood on the cloak. And I think she would like to mayhaps cast sleep on this man so that he just clocks out so that she can then immediately dip.
Yeah, all right. That's great. And that could save you some additional trouble. So,
and not necessarily knowing
how many hit
points of this man, she will happily just go ahead and cast it at 3rd level.
Okay. All right. Roll it. Roll on bones.
All right. So it's 2d8 for each slot above 1. So that would be
plus an additional 5d8, right? So it's 9d8 total.
39 hit points.
Do you allow this man to approach you in order to cast this? Or get closer at least?
Within 20 feet of me for sure. But this is why I'm putting the hood up as well. So it covers my face. It covers the kind of vocal component of this. And, something on the lines of, wow, I could really use a nap right now is what I say.
I don't imagine you 3 have been casting a ton of magic outside of like what you do for practice. So tell me what it is when for one of the first times Naya deliberately calls upon something to make a change in the world outside of her and put this man to sleep, which she does so successfully.
Oh, fantastic. I think this is one of the first times, since she left her community that she has sensed a little bit of fear. And she is afraid of whatever this is, whatever this guard is, whatever Taios means to this larger city, that whatever she's wearing is the reason why it might come down on this tiny little group of friends that she has now finally been able to make and finally get stable. So there's fear, there's a little nervousness, but it's really decisive because she knows that she needs this to stop immediately. And if she cannot get this person to stop pursuing, because she does not know how long this person will pursue it, that something even more terrible could befell her community. And so it's an immense fear, but it's decisive and quick and just, I need to go to sleep.
The feeling that you have as you reach internally for your own power is that you are actually grabbing onto your fear and yanking it. That's the decisive action, is you yank it, and as you do, this man pitches forward and just falls completely unconscious on the ground. Now, you are in a neighborhood, so I'm going to just do a quick luck check to see if anybody notices. Someone does, but it's a resident. They see this man fall over. They don't see you necessarily. They see a figure in a lavender cloak with a hood up, and that is your opportunity to get out. So I want to ask what you want to do. What I'm curious is, are you going down to this little spit of land where this little fishing hut is, or are you going to try to make it back to the docks?
I think now that she knows that this guy isn't following her, she's going to try and make it back to the docks. Yeah.
To the docks. Great. Okay. All right. Just give me a quick, let's say a stealth check and see how fast you get through town and how unseen. Not great. Okay. So you do, though, make it back to the docks, and you do have to pass through a guardhouse in order to do so, but nobody stops you as you're trying to get through. And when you get down there, you see that Emmett and Ofelia, they've waited, actually, because they just wanted to be sure. So that boat is there, and you 3 are available to get in it and leave. Naya, are you rowing back? Are you gonna let Ofelia do it?
I think Ofelia is gonna offer actually to Orc, because I'm gonna say, how did it go?
I think he fell asleep.
Got it.
Are you okay?
But I don't know. I don't know. 1, thank you all for waiting for me. But 2, next time, leave.
Oh.
The three of you get into the boat and you pull away from the dock. So you don't have that far to go, but you do actually kind of have to go upriver a little bit. Everybody give me a perception check.
Just kidding. I love perception.
My
checks.
perceptions are not that great. It is gonna be a 9 this time
Two.
around.
15.
I got an 8.
All right, Naya, you're the only one who notices this on your way back, but as it's a little bit slower going because you're going upstream, you see at that guard tower by the docks, you actually see just a little clustering of men in the same kind of uniform as the one that you just spoke to. They're getting too far away for you to necessarily know exactly what they're doing and see them distinctly. And as you move upstream, I think, Ofelia, what you do is use the passage of another boat coming past you downstream to sort of slip into the little cove where Igern keeps her boat. So what they don't exactly see where you're going, but you know, Naya, that you were there on the river and that within view of yourself at the very least, you could see that there was some activity going around with the guards, and then you will have disappeared from their view. So the three of you jump out and pull this boat back up onto its sandy spot on the shore, and then it's just a matter of doing a little climb up some stairs that are carved into the rock wall in order to get back to Igern's place.
Naya, you looked kind of occupied there. What were you thinking?
Well, the real question is, Emmett, what were you doing?
I got you guys stuff while we were out for the tokens.
Oh my gods.
I'm sorry that a guard followed you. I didn't mean for that to happen. I got you cool stuff.
Emmett.
I'm sorry. I won't do that again. I won't. I promise.
Well, I don't actually know if we'll have the opportunity to do that again. Just FYI, I got tailed. Thank you, Ofelia, for the message, because I would not have known.
I just think that we need to be careful. Igern told us to not draw attention to ourselves, but I feel like today we did. And I'm going to look pointedly at both of you, and I'm going to say, I appreciate what you were trying to do, Emmett, but you did put us, or...
I do know.
Okay, as long as you know.
Well, as you guys are discussing this is while you're like climbing these stairs and trying to get through. This is like a lightly forested hillside, so you're like kind of moving through it to the little it's just like a little clear space where Igern has her cottage and a small barn and stuff like that. And as you're returning, she's actually outside. It looks like she was finishing up some of her like little farm chores, and she sees the three of you approaching and she says, "Took you a long time, girls. Did you get everything you needed?"
We did, and perhaps also got some unwanted attention as well in some regard.
Oh, what kind of attention?
I think the attention of a guard. Or maybe guards. It's unclear.
Oh, dear.
You know what? I apologize, because I'm the one who drew the attention.
Did they see you come here?
I don't know, but they were looking in our general direction.
She ushers the three of you inside and she says, "Our lesson on tokens might need to wait a bit anyway. I've received word from Liev that..." She looks at Unaya. She says, "Yuneza has gone missing." And not only that, but she looks at the three of you. She says, you're aware that I'm able to move freely, I suppose. I can change my location easily.
Yes.
And that's not actually a normal ability of witches. That's due to this. And she pats her head. The caul that she's wearing, this that I wear, this is what we call a relic or a talisman. It's like your tokens, but it's permanent. And what I'm able to do is teleport to places that I've already been before. I can leave and show up anywhere where I've already been. I have been to Yuneza's. I have been to the Tideborne Shrine. It's very easy for me to teleport to any standing circle that I visited, and I cannot access that place anymore, and I'm terribly worried about her because Liev has been trying to send her messages and has received nothing in return, and I cannot get to Clawtip. So we are going to need to leave. It sounds like we may need to all leave together because I was going to go check on her myself, but if the three of you have drawn some unwanted attention, then perhaps it's best that we all go.
Igern, what are your suspicions?
I can't say for sure because things have been so unusual for the last season since the three of you gained your power. Everybody has been on high alert in Tuvold. They tolerate my presence here, but they've been much unfriendlier in the last few weeks. That's why I needed you to be careful, and I believe that something larger is happening, and obviously something larger is happening, or else the three of you wouldn't be in my house in the first place. So I don't know exactly what's happening, but we have to find out. And if Yunez is in danger and the shrine is not functioning anymore, that means there's terrible trouble afoot. Did Yuneza tell you about... How much did she tell you about the loom, the web, the way that magic works?
She told us a little.
Yes.
She told us it was like a weave, like a thread.
It's like, yes, it's like a loom, and every loom, if you're weaving a tapestry upon it, it has support threads that hold the whole thing up. She points towards Tuvold. She says, the Shrine of Order in the Ecclesia de Ordo, that is one of them. Order holds up the whole world. She says there's a Shrine of Chaos in the middle of the bay at the Island of Storms, Hadari. That is another. Order and chaos are part of what makes the world continue forward. And the thing that binds those two together is change. And that is what Yuneza protects, is the Shrine of Change. So if they've mutilated it or destroyed it and it's irreparable, I don't know what kind of damage is going to be done to everything.
Igern, I think there is a lot of stuff happening, and we definitely need to figure out what's happening with Yuneza, but I do want to report that we did see something quite disturbing today as well as we were going through Tuvold. I had observed a corpse, and I kind of described to her what I had seen. Do you know about this?
Actually, when you describe that to her, what you see is a look of complete recognition. She says, yes, I've seen... Yuneza has seen a few like corpses wash up by Clawtip. This is not the first one that's been near Tuvold. For some reason, whenever they appear, they always seem to be in water. But they're all over Aelia, so I can't fathom what it is that is doing that to these people.
I think when Naya hears this, she brings up how she first got her powers, or the day in which she left her community, in which she also was like, I saw a corpse coming down a river, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was someone who was drowning, and I reached down to help grab them and pull them out of the water, and then a beam of light went off. And then when I went...
That was when the eclipse happened.
Yes. And when I went home, there was a wolf that was there to protect me, and it bowed in front of me, and I was able to tell it to leave, and it did.
I have to imagine that the solar eclipse is exactly when the three of you gained your powers. Nothing else makes sense. It was so shortly after that we found you in the first place, and all of the magic users in Aelia, I don't know any left. Even the clerics of Taios who didn't feel that change. So something greater is afoot here, and the first place we're going to have to look is going to have to be at Clawtip, at Yuneza's. We're going to have to find out what is happening, and perhaps Yuneza, perhaps we'll find her, perhaps we'll be able to help her, perhaps she knows more than I do. But if you were spotted, if you were followed in the town, then we're going to... It'd be best if we were not here.
I agree.
So gather your things, please, and perhaps while we're traveling, I can give you more information about the nature of magic. I'm so sorry this has been thrust upon you girls.
No, we're sorry, Aigern. I know that you took great care.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. There's this. She sighs. She says, "My life has been a matter of survival for the most part, so I'm used to it at this point. And frankly, I'm happy that the three of you are here. There are so few witches left, and it's wonderful to see the same traditions being passed down to our youth. I'm so sorry it's happened in the way that it has, but I'm happy you're here, and I'm sorry, but we're going to need to go soon because I'm already not trusted in the city, and I've had my home invaded by clerics of Taios one too many times to want to be here when it happens again."
Yeah.
So she sets the three of you to packing up. Bring your token stuff with you. You haven't made them yet, but you will.
Mm-hmm.
She prepares some food, since she's always making food, and packs it up for you guys so that you'll have provisions as you travel. She gets it together in her little satchel as well. And when the three of you are ready, she calls you out to the front of her house. Your familiars join you out front. Phobos flaps down to your shoulder, Naya, and Jarvis is small enough that he has just settled himself into one of the big inside pockets of your coat. Emmett and Ofelia, I don't think Sour has really moved from your shoulder much all day. So, how's everyone feeling as you head outside to leave?
Just feeling troubled. And not that I'm angry at Emmett or Naya, but I think it's sort of similar to, now I recognize it as like my parents just worry. Because, I've grown to care about these two, and just knowing now that there's a target, I think makes me very troubled. And also the news with Yuneza as well, and then hearing about leave. So I think Ophelia is currently in this place, of just worry and trying not to let fear overtake her.
Emmett is really embarrassed, just like overly embarrassed about like something that she's done her whole life, which is like, sneaking around and pickpocketing and grabbing stuff that she's not supposed to be grabbing. Something that she feels so secure and good at got them kind of in trouble. Not kind of, just like in trouble. And she just feels guilty, but she's trying not to think about it that much because, they're in a rush to get to Claw Tip and everything. So she is just kind of like gathering up everything and trying not to make eye contact with anybody. She just feels bad.
I think Naya has an overwhelming sense of sadness of having left one place that she's been in for so long to then moving to another place and then hearing about Yuneza. It's a lot of like change that's happening all at once. And so she's steeling herself for more change, which will inevitably happen. But I think she's like looking over to Ofelia and she's looking over to Emmett, and there's just like a sense of like peace that she has that I think will get her through this. I think Naya would kind of sense that like Emmett's not feeling that great, because usually Emmett's kind of cheery and like talking and asking questions, and kind of sensing that like Emmett's a little silent.
Are you trying to hide it, Emmett?
A little bit. I'm not like openly frowning, but maybe I'm like blushing or something. But I'm not really trying to make it. Yeah, I'm not trying to make it like obvious.
Aigern has you step out into the yard, and she puts her hands out to the three of you, and she's all, I hope you're ready. And do you put your hands in hers?
Absolutely. I make sure to definitely grab Emmett's hands and give it a little squeeze.
You feel her drawing power towards herself. It's almost like a movement in the air, and then all of a sudden there's a pop, sense of compression, and when you are able to register that you are no longer near Tuvold, no longer in front of Aigern's cottage, your eyes are adjusting to a deep, dark, still old forest. And your ears catch the sound of the wind blowing through the trees and the distant sound of crashing waves. That was Annette Lee as Ofelia, Ashlyn Sparrow as Naya, and Tegan Mack as Emmett. Sara Brink was the game master. Story editing and sound design by Sara Brink. Oops All Witches is a playtest of the Witch class created for The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One, produced by Fortunate Horse. For more information, visit the Worlds Beyond Number Patreon. Oops All Witches is a Dancing Stickman production. If you're enjoying the podcast and you'd like to hear more nerdy content like this, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. And be sure to tell your friends. Thanks for listening.
I've been trying so hard not to be like, what's up, my witches?
That's how you should open up this podcast, because you know how Brennan says, hi, all intrepid, what is it?
Witches.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to another video.
Hello, witches. Welcome back to my channel. So today, we're going to just bestow some curses. No big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal. We're going to make a few little tokens for each other. It's so cute. I just want you guys to be able to throw curses on behalf of each other, you know?
So true.
When it boils down to.